Okay, so I've completed this trade. Now, what do I want to do now I've completed that trade? So as you can see here, this is what the trade was. Okay, so it used my dollars that was on HitBTC to buy this coin, and then I had some of this coin sitting on Livecoin, and then it used that to buy dollars on Livecoin. Come up to the icon there and see if there's that dollar trade available still. So let's just click that. The route's still there, so if I click on use my balance, so I don't have enough dollars. So what I need to do, okay, is on HitBTC I need to create some more dollars. So what I'm going to do is if I go over to here, you can see on HitBTC that I've got $36 worth of Bitcoin. So let's see what I've got down here on Livecoin of this other coin that I need. I've got $61. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell my Bitcoin. So I've got 0.0049. So I'm going to see if I can actually increase my Bitcoin by doing another trade. Okay, so first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer that Bitcoin. I'm going to sell the Bitcoin. Where is it? Bitcoin. Sell that. So I can't actually sell all my balance, but there's only a little bit of Bitcoin left there. So I'm going to click on buy. And so what I'll do is I'll just expand this to show you what Bitcoin I had to start with. Now we're not going to refresh this screen, okay? So I want to see if I end up with more Bitcoin. And if I come down to Livecoin, just to check, I've actually got this much, okay? So I need to add those two together to see if I'll end up with more Bitcoin than what I started with after I've done this trade and the next trade. Okay, so this hopefully this is all sinking into you, but bear with me. So let's go over to my routes, and here's the trade in progress. So let's just have a look. It's already started the trade, so I need this circle to go dark blue, and then I'll be able to refresh the screen, and that transaction will just have a completed button. Right, so that's now complete. So I'll close that and refresh the screen. What I'm going to do is come up to the bell icon. I'm going to look for that dollar trade again. And there it is. And let the pop-up show. Then I'm going to click on here. I've got $64. Okay, so I'm going to use my balance. So out of my balance, I can only actually use $61 worth of my balance. Okay, and that will leave me $3. So I'm going to click on the blue lightning button and buy the trade. Get the robot to carry that out. And I'll go over to my root screen. So there's this trade in progress, okay? So let's have a look what the robot's doing. So it's going to use my dollars that I've got on HitBTC to buy this coin. And then what it's going to do is exchange this coin for US dollars on Livecoin. And then what I want to do is convert what I've got into Bitcoin to see if I've increased my Bitcoin. So as you can see, it's done the first part of the trade. Now it's on the second part. And it's already started that, and I just got to wait for that number 2 there to go dark blue like that number 1 there. So that's now complete. So all I need to do is to refresh the screen, and I've made again another 2.7% on my dollars. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my portfolio, and if I see here, if I get this, get the calculator now. So what we got here is we've got 0.01 0.073225, and I'm going to plus that, plus, and I'm going to come up to HitBTC and look at the Bitcoin I've got on there now, which is 0.00499,165, okay, equals, so I'm just going to copy that and put that into my notepad. That's good. Right, so that's on my notepad. So what I'm going to do now, let me just refresh this screen, because that's what the screen was before I did the trade, okay? So now I've refreshed my screen, you can see that my Bitcoin's gone down, okay, because I've used it in parts of the trade. So you remember I had this small amount of dollar there. So I'm going to first off put that back into Bitcoin. So I'm going to click on this blue thing here. And I'm going to come down to the dollar. And I'm going to sell that for BTC. For Bitcoin. Use the balance. I think you have to, there you go. Sometimes you have to take the last digit off because it knows you can't trade with the full digit. Okay, so I'll buy that and okay that. So I've also got this 61 of these coins, so I want to put those into Bitcoin as well. So I click on this, find those coins which are here. So I'm going to sell those for BTC, Bitcoin. Use the balance, buy that. Click OK. So that's them two transactions. Now on Livecoin, what I need to do on Livecoin is put these dollars into Bitcoin. Okay, so if I come to the blue thing here as well, come to the dollars, sell the dollar, BTC, Bitcoin. Use the balance, get that done, buy, it's okay. So on Livecoin I've got this $1.37, which I'm going to need that, I'm going to leave that, okay. So I've just got to wait now for all of these trades to carry out, so I can see one's completed. I'll refresh the screen. Right, so this one 87%, let's have a look how it's doing. Yeah, that one, let's have a look at this one. So I've just got to wait for all these trades to be done, and then I can refresh the screen and see if I've got more Bitcoin than this, which is what I started with. So let's just see how that goes. So this top trade's done, so I'll refresh the screen. So all I'm waiting for now is for this trade to be done. And that trade's done. So I can refresh the screen. They're all complete now. Okay. So what I need to do is go to my portfolio, refresh the screen here, and see what Bitcoin I've got between Livecoin and HitBTC. So first off, go down to Livecoin. Okay. So if I get my calculator. So on Livecoin, I've got 0.02283 148 plus, and let's have a look what I've got on HitBTC. And on HitBTC, get the calculator again. Where's it gone? There it is. Plus 0.0082 equals, so copy that, take that to my notepad. So let's see how that is. So the original number was this, so copy that, take that to my percentage calculator, put the original number in there, and then come back to my notepad and get the new number, put that into the percentage calculator. So that's given me an increase in my Bitcoin as 97.46%, which is just mind-blowing. I've doubled my Bitcoin, basically. Started with 0.15. So if I go to this historic screen, I've not refreshed this screen, I've refreshed this one, okay? So this is the screen. This screen here is what I had with Bitcoin before I started doing all these trades, okay? So if I come down here, you can see I've got on HitBTC, I've got 0.00898. And if I come here on this other screen, I've got 0.0088. So that Bitcoin has actually gone down, okay? But if I come down to the Livecoin screen down here, as you can see here, I've got 0.01. And if I go to the new screen and go down to live coin, you can see here I've got 0.02. So I've doubled, almost doubled my Bitcoin by doing a few trades. And these are the trades. If I just refresh the screen. Now, before I started this trade, I had to use some Bitcoin up to start this trade. So I changed up some Bitcoin and then did the trade, made a profit, then changed up some coins again, did a trade again, made some profit, changed the coins up again, put them all back into Bitcoin, and then refreshed my screen, and I've ended up with 97% more Bitcoin than what I had when I first started the trade. So I've had to do 4 or 5 trades to actually get to my end goal. Now, I'm absolutely blown away with that. If you want to get access to this tool, find a link below and you can create a free account, connect some API keys to the exchanges, and you can be trading like this. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to show you how to use Johnny Blockchain to get you some fantastic returns like this one. I'll see you in another video. You have an amazing day. Bye now.